Come and ask me questions.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, this person's got a couple for you, Jake, but only asks one question.
Sure.
What's with this road bridge craze?
It's great. You should try it. It's fun. It's mellow. It sounds like a giant ukulele. That's why people like it.
What?
And I don't know. You just have to go try it somewhere. Before you judge. I know you're judging.
What's your preference, assuming you're a bluegrass / folk freakish kind of guy? Ladder brace, X brace, or that newfangled Taylor thing, A brace guitar, and why? ?
They're all good for different things. Ladder brace is really, really good for fingerpicker types. And if you want like that spanky blues sound that the Kalamazoos and stuff have. I think that's good for like if you are a bare finger picker, it's clean and your notes are really heard. And if you use finger picks or a flat pick with most ladder brace guitars, they sort of compress. You can dig into them and they sort of flatten out. That's really useful if you want that sound, like you want a sort of boxy sound. X bracing sounds like X bracing. Everybody loves it. There are a whole different lot of varieties of it. I like double X, so there's an X behind the bridge plate too. That works pretty well. It's stiffer and more stable. You get more mids. You get a little bit more snap, more even response, more sustain, but it has to be done right to sound good. I don't prefer normal like scalloped X bracing because there's usually a lot of belly involved as they age. And they sound pretty, but that's kind of a scoop to mids kind of thing. I think as far as like the best X bracing goes, I like early 50s Martin, kind of like the straight tapered braces. It sounds really good, or Gibson's from around the same time are pretty good, late 40s, early 50s ones. But the Taylor A bracing is fantastic. It works really well. They've been using that kind of bracing as long as there have been guitar-like instruments, not that specific thing with the little funny pads and like bridge plate extensions, but the that sort of tone bar-y kind of bracing that's on a V shape. I've seen at least maybe 3 or 4 turn-of-the-century guitars that use it, and then others that have attempted to use it because it lends a lot of strength to the top, so the neck joint doesn't seem to move much with the weather. But it sounds pretty. Use whatever you like. Whatever sounds good to you is what you should use. There's no good, better, or best. Whew. Next.
What do you think of the Dan Electro reissues? I own a couple from 2007, Dano Pro guitar and 63 long scale bass, and I love them.
The Dano reissues are great. They're not Dan Electros. I mean, they're sort of like Dan Electros. They're light-ish. They have good, clean sound and pickups. But they're more Fendery because of the way the necks are built, so they don't quite have the thing that I think the Danos have in the sort of funky, falling apart feeling instrument way. But they're great. Like if you want an old Dano, but you don't want to use it on stage and you don't want to spend a bunch of money to find one and then have to spend a bunch of money more to fix it up so it plays right, because they play awful, then the reissues are great. There's nothing wrong with them. The Korean ones are really good. I've had a few of the newer ones that haven't been super. I really like the 90s Korean ones though. Those are good. And they come in cool colors too. Anyway.
Yeah. Here's one. As a fellow fan of aftermarket adjustments that cross the line into Frankenstein hybrids, I wonder if you have ever gone too far. Have you regretted refitting that Gibson Jumbo with a Japanese mandolin neck? Where's the line between leaving an existing instrument as it is versus swapping out body parts to make something entirely different?
I think it's fine to go wild with things. I think that it's best to go wild with things if they're already sort of destroyed, if they're not going to really have much of a purpose in their current state. I mean, we've been doing a lot of these banjo mandolins to 4-string banjo mandolin things. It makes them sort of like mini tenor banjos lately. And that's a mod I've been doing for a long time, and it turns an instrument that sucks kind of to keep in tune and deal with that tuning stability every time you're playing it into something that's actually fun to play, and you can sit through like half a set and not have to tune. That's pretty good. And there are always customers who want crazy swap outs and changing things around and moving things around, and it's like becomes almost like a game for them. Like, how can they one up their buddies with the next crazy parts or pickup or whatever configuration? Can you move such and such banjo neck to this electric guitar body? And it's like a lot of the time the Frankensteins work just fine, but whether they're fun to own and play is another thing. So yeah, totally. I've gone too far all the time. That's fun. But it's usually with stuff that's falling apart or purposeless to begin with. Like if you have a decent old guitar, and maybe you don't like the neck, it's like finding a different decent old guitar. Just leave it alone. If it's otherwise fine, turn lemons into lemonade, but don't turn on the good clean apples into applesauce.
All right. Is the desire to self-destruct innate, or is it a response to our environment?
What? You mean instruments?
No, it's just like the human desire to
self-destruct. We've been talking about this a lot lately as people get crazy with politics, but humans are just apes. We all like to be following silverbacks, and we all pretend that we don't like to. And that...
Prove it.
What? You want me to hit you with a mallet? Or you want me to stuff the mallet in my
I
mouth?
just want to make sure you're not self-destructive.
Oh, yeah, I'm not too self-destructive. I'm prone to fits of... Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we were taking the neck off this violin earlier. We had started heating it up, but it turns out that it had like some failed joints. So as I was wiggling it gently, it went crack. And then he's like, oh, maybe I should. I'm like, nah, we're going to table that for a little while. So Ansel's asking questions about human condition. Yeah, self-destruct if you want to. Otherwise, enjoy the ride. Next.
I was wondering how you seem to do so many guitars in such a short time.
Oh.
Can't keep up with watching the videos.
So before I had all these crazy people helping me, I was working on stuff really fast. Because I'm fast. I work really fast, unfortunately. I have lots of little cheat ways to get around things and make things go more quickly. And it's just about doing things efficiently and making your workflow more like assembly line-ish kind of thing. You have your like checklist and you just go through it in your brain. But now that we have all these worker gnomes, there's just way too much output, and it's like I get backed up listing stuff for sale, and never mind the stuff that comes in here, that people don't see. Like you're gonna see on the blog from today's work, there's gonna be a funny Costa Rican classical guitar at some point, right? There's gonna be one or two fiddles Andy's been working on. There's going to be a cool Supro National black Rezo glass guitar that Ansel's working on, but at the same time, you didn't see the Rickenbacker 12 that I set up. You didn't see a piece of electronics effects hardware that we fixed up. You didn't see gold jazz bass from the 60s that Ansel set up and adjusted and fixed the jack on. You didn't see the, Ripper bass that was in here. Stuff like that. It's like, what else was in today? I don't know.
Probably something.
Something.
Else.
Oh, Bob was just in with something for us to take a look at. At any rate, what I'm trying to say is it's like an iceberg. You only see the tip. So it's really, really busy, and if you've ever tried to get in contact with me and it seems like I'm ghosting you, I'm not. It's just busy. Unless it's Ansel calling, then I might ghost him.
Yeah, it's true.
I always answer the phone for Andy. Just saying.
Yes.
Which I guess that leads into how many elves do you have at work in the background sawing or filing?
Andy's working on a fiddle right now.
Andy, saw and file louder so the SMR people get off.
We were talking about this last time, how everybody was excited to hear Andy's filing and chiseling away.
Hold on.
And it was a long... That's not the fiddle. He's just sawing... They're sawing at wood blocks. Please save my wood. So there's Ansel Coburn. He's been here the longest, working on stuff steadily. He's my number one, if you're a Star Trek person. There's Andy Lake over here. Stop! Please stop! There's Andy Lake over here who's been doing all of our boat instruments. And we need to give him as much business as we can because we want him to be doing this full time. See, he wants it. He doesn't really admit it, but he wants it. And then we have Jose Rodriguez lately, who's our newest apprentice, young guy, a little younger than you, right, Ansel? Maybe about a year?
Maybe.
Thanks for that, Jake.
That was not bribery. He just took the 20 that's for Tom Stevenson's records and handed it to me. Put that back out there.
That's not what I wanted to do.
At any rate, yeah, we have Jose, and we have Tim Price, my friend Tim Price, who lives up in Ripton, has been coming in and working on a lot of banjos and mandolins and stuff. Oh no. Ansel's got sound effects. Please turn that off. Please. If you don't want me to step on your phone, please turn that off.
Would you give up some of your atrocious Sith Lord opposition towards the Beatles, not judging, if they were a fiddle quartet?
That was judging. And no.
Oh!
They're fine. They're a band.
They're a band.
They're a band. There are lots of bands. Everybody's free to like who they like. At least until I become emperor. Next.
Which fellow shop worker / apprentice leaves the widest swath of mayhem and destruction when they work? Also, who is the biggest tool swiper? This is a safe space. You can speak freely.
That's great. I think Tim uses the most space. Sorry, Tim. It's a good thing. You're organized. I think Andy is a very good magpie. I find tools that have been missing in his desk all the time.
What?
Yeah, it's true.
What?
It's good. I mean, it's good that he's hoarding the tools that he needs for his job. But then it's sad when I need the tools for my job. What are you doing over there?
Sound effects.
And then Ansel is the most chaotic, though. His bench is amazing. It looks like productivity. That's all I can say. But
Damn straight.
I'm not too into the food mixed with the tools. That can get a little old. Right?
Wow.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know if you like fret filings in your soup.
Fine, it's a good source of iron.
I think Jose is the most organized of us, though.
Yeah,
He keeps his space very respectful.
For sure.
Yeah. We're all tool swipers. I mean, that's okay. That's a thing that happens. Why have 20 tools that do the same thing when you only need 3 or 4? I think that covers everybody except me. I'm a jerk. Yes, I like to whip people. Get back to work.
Asking again, all caps, Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I still haven't seen him. I tried to convince the girls to see Barbie movie for my dad. My dad really wanted to see that movie of all people.
That's crazy.
Well, he likes big, splashy, Hollywoody things. He's a character, and I love him dearly. But the girls weren't having it. Instead, they wanted to... What the heck did we watch? I think we watched Hunger Games.
Hunger Games?
So I'm going to just go with the opposition and choose Oppenheimer so that we can table this question. Next.
Does your supervisor know you've been drinking on the job?
Yes. And actually, I've been working on stuff in the house upstairs. We're rearranging our rooms upstairs in the house here. We live at the shop. This room, this workshop room, should be our living room, but isn't. And it will eventually be our living room again someday. But the girls are getting each of their own room, and what I found behind early 80s plywood wainscot was an old shelf, and the last guy in 84 to work in there had left Michelob Light and a bar of E.T. soap and a newspaper, a Rutland Herald from 84, with really boring news. Oh, but it's really funny news because it was all about like, there's going to be a government shutdown because nobody can agree on blah, 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 blah. Just saying, it's the same thing over and over again. At any rate, I was working and I definitely cracked open a beer in that guy's honor and stuck it with his old bottle. Made me very happy to, fulfill the mission of the dad fixing the room once again. Anyway, do you guys have questions?
Not really.
All right. That's a wrap. Bye.